Well, welcome to the live stream of the Mountain Arts Community Center Board of Directors. We are meeting remotely and live streaming instead of having a physical meeting, in-person meeting, because as we all know right now, this time in our history, we shouldn't all be in a room together. So, given the limitations and holding physical meetings, this is the best that we can do right now. So our meeting is being recorded, it's live streamed, and is there anything else that I need to say about that?
That pretty much covers that. We'll do a roll call to start off with.
Okay.
Just a reminder that any votes would need to be a roll call vote as well.
Thank you, Boyd, town manager. Okay. So hi, I am Ryan Walker. I'm the chair. Everybody else, well, let's see. I guess I can't have you all.
How about, I have the list here. You may just run down an actual roll call for you.
Thank you, Boyd. Go ahead.
Sure. Ryan Walker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm present.
Becky Pope.
Here.
Sally Halloran.
She is not joining us.
Robert Inman.
Here.
Seth Graham. Not with us. Angie Landrum. Angie, I believe you're muted.
Yep.
Mic check at the top right corner of your screen, not the
There
microphone.
she is.
I found it. Here.
Got it.
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you. Alice Gardner.
Here.
And we should note that the council liaison, Susanna Murdoch, is with us as well.
Hi. As long as I can be. I've got a tutoring appointment at 5:15.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Boyd.
Sure.
Okay, so minutes. We have, I'm not very good at jumping around. I'm using an iPhone here. We had minutes from, does anybody have the dates of our meetings? Because I forgot to write that down, from February. We had,
February
go ahead.
I think it's February 25th.
So our regular meeting was February 25th. We also had a special meeting earlier in February, but there's lots of business to discuss. I forgot that I would not have access to these documents without a printer. So let's start with the, yeah. Let's start with, go ahead, Bob.
I'm sorry, Ryan. The ones that I have for the 25th show that was a special meeting.
Let's see, 25th was our standard meeting. It's the last Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, that was a standard.
Our regular meeting. The one earlier was like on the 12th or something. Let me see if I have that. I'm jumping off screen right now.
February 12th meeting was special called meeting to discuss possible organizational changes at the MACC.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Do we need to approve the special meeting minutes during this session? And even though I'm the chair, I'm learning. So I'm learning how to do this.
How about I make a motion that we approve both minutes at the same time?
Okay, good. Save time.
Yeah, in in the minutes for the 25th, it says that the January 28th and February 5th meetings were approved. So if there was a meeting on the 12th and the 25th, both of those are remaining to be approved.
There was also a meeting on February 18th. That was a special called meeting to discuss the summer camps. So we have
Okay.
3 more February February minutes to approve.
Okay. Let's come back. There we go.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so I would say let's go ahead and move to approve all minutes at the same time. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll go ahead and, did you actually make a motion, Ellis?
Yes.
Okay, so you move to approve all, the minutes for all the February
With one roll call vote.
meetings. With one roll call vote. Okay, well, I second that. Do we have any discussion? Okay, so that means that we are approved. Sorry, Rusty.
For
It would be the,
Do we have to do it all in favor and roll
oh,
call?
yes.
Yeah, let's-
We do have to, yeah, sorry, I'm losing my instructions already. Okay,
So, I'll be happy to do those for you. So,
okay,
I've got the list right in front of me anyway.
okay.
So, Becky Pope,
I approve.
Ryan Walker,
I approve.
Rob Inman,
Approved.
Angie Landrum,
Approve.
Ellis Gardner.
Approved.
Okay, now that we've
There you
actually
go.
voted, yes. So all minutes for February have been approved unanimously. Okay. What's next on the list? I do apologize. I do not have a printer, so I don't have my documents in front of me.
Next item is pollinator garden update.
Thank you. So we did meet with Snowda Hendricks. We had a meeting with Snowda Hendricks, a special meeting. Also present was I was present, as was Angie and Becky and Sally. That was on March 12th. And we were just discussing the placement of the pollinator garden, just to get an update on the plans and to find out how big it was going to be. So Snowda from the Garden Club has sent us some drafts that they've come up with for the pollinator garden, which will be built as soon as everything's in place. It will be built on the downhill side of the parking lot. It's on the right-hand side of MACC. So it's a big grassy lot at the corner at Day Street in Kentucky. And so part of that big level grassy lot will be used for a pollinator garden. And so in our discussion, we decided to keep the garden at the edge of the parking lot that's next to that grassy lot. And that way we would still have some open space in front of it for circulation on the property, festivals, events, things like that. The garden will feature a clear area This garden is still in draft form. The drawings are still being sort of finalized, but there will be a clear area in the middle that will be paved with concrete or something of that nature. Be surrounded by some grass, and that will be surrounded by, I believe, 4 quadrants of plantings. You'll have a lot of flowers. It is a pollinator garden, so we did request. We suggested that the garden be irrigated before it gets built. We know that if there's no irrigation, it won't be irrigated sufficiently. Like it's just too much manpower to maintain it. So irrigation needs to go in first before the garden gets built, and so that's going to be the thing that we have to wait for before the garden club gets started on their project. But they did do some draft drawings. I did email those to you guys last time. Sorry about that. They're all variations of the same. Seth, even though he's not joining us, he did reply with an email that says that he feels like the clearing in the middle of the garden should be large enough to accommodate, if there are events, some sort of stage configuration, and that was discussed at our special meeting as well. So, that also is the preference of the garden club. So, the clearing will be the paved area in the middle will be able to be used for bands if there's a festival or anything special event like that. You can either set up seating in the parking lot behind or in the lawn in front of the garden. So it makes it a fairly versatile location. Of course, the garden is already in the works. It's already approved, and the wheels are turning. But I did want to run some of those ideas by everybody to make sure there was no further discussion that would be helpful for the garden club. But I did feel it was important to leave part of that lawn available for special events, so that we don't take up the entire space for the garden. So they are actively working with the town to work on irrigation. That's our update for the pollinator garden. So the wheels are turning, and that is in drawing phase right now. To make a long story short, there are no votes required. And you were there, both you, Angie. Steve and Becky. Is there anything that noteworthy that you think is worth adding to that? If you guys have no other comments, we'll move on to the next agenda item.
Is there, Lloyd, is there any town people available anytime soon to clear the area?
We can see. Right now we're working to minimize multi-person crews on things. So,
right.
Depending on what kind of equipment might be available, it would be productive for one person to do.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a one-person job.
Yeah, well, again, depending on what equipment they use, may or may not be, but we can look into that. I did have a question. You mentioned, I guess, the way I took it, the garden club was going to contact the town about irrigation, and I haven't heard from anybody on that. So, just wanted to make that known. That was a bit of news.
Yeah. Well, I know that they need an access. point. and so yeah, they obviously have to work for the town. So I will follow up. Go ahead.
Sorry, what would be the next step for getting a separate water access out there? You know, it's a landscape meter.
We would just have to look at where we might be able to come off. There's a 12-inch main that runs through there, but there's also, I believe, a 6 that feeds the sprinkler system. I don't know if we can mess with that or not, but we'll just have to look and see what some of the options are. I believe the meters for the building service come off of Maryland, actually, so
They do.
we'll just have to see what we can do over on that side.
Okay. Well, I will remind the garden club that they should get the ball rolling as far as contacting me, so they can get their garden in.
Yeah, I think probably Angie had mentioned it, but haven't been contacted by anyone from the garden club on it yet. So just wanted to let you know that. And I'm sure they're like a lot of us that have had many other things on our plate, so
Yes.
we may hear from them shortly.
Yep. I know they'd hoped to get the garden in the spring, but we'll see. There's a lot of groundwork that has to happen, so we'll be happy to see it whenever it happens. So, all right. Thank you. Should we go ahead and move on to what do I have next? I had
SME PM.
you want to go ahead and let us know what's going on? You guys have been busy.
Have we? I feel like we're not. Let's see. Well, all the concerts are canceled. Summer camp is canceled. So,
Okay.
yeah, there's not much we can do right now. There's some work happening in the building, just because the guy we have doing sheetrock is just a father-son team. So those guys are in there working on the hallway ceilings.
So this is and that's encouraging. So that means that the drop ceilings in the two hallways, right? Both hallways in the original part of the building, the drop ceilings have come down.
Yes, looks so
so
good.
So they are restoring the original height ceiling, hiding the utilities and conduits, right? All the wiring is going away.
Yep, and apparently there was a mess of wires up there, so that's all gone. So it's all new electrical. We'll have new lights. I think they've already been ordered.
So,
and yeah, so it's going to look good. I think they're mudding today, so a few more days.
Oh, that's an important part of the restoration, is getting those drop ceilings out of the, especially out of the historic part of the building.
Yeah,
so
it looks really good.
I think that's exciting.
And Ryan's dad finished up the ceiling out front on the porch. It still needs trim around the edge, but it looks amazing.
Those pictures, all the pictures that I've seen on Facebook, I mean, it is beautiful. It is really coming together so nicely.
Yeah, it looks good.
That was a good choice. Another good choice by team Angie and Cheryl. Good design choice for using some nice quality yellow pine, oiled to make it weatherproof. It'll probably hold up. It'll probably hold up for a good long time.
It should. Yeah, it's protected, so that'll last a while. Also, room 7 is finished pretty much. I mean, we'll still go back in there and paint the windows, but we turned room 7 into a waiting room for parents and siblings who previously were hanging out in the halls and making noise sometimes. So this solves a lot of problems.
It's a great space. I mean, right now nobody has a chance to see it because the building is closed, but it has, it's got the schoolhouse lights in it, and it just feels, it feels old. It's really great. It looks really nice.
We've made half the room as a play area, so it has a bookcase on one wall full of kids' books, and it's a train table and a small table for playing and a kitchen set, and then the other half of the room is couch and chairs, coffee table for parents comfortably. So we've had electrical outlets updated and added, so it's all good.
Good. That's a good addition.
Yeah.
It's a cool place to actually sit. All right. Any other? So yeah, everything else is stopped. So, but
Yeah.
thank you for all of the updates in the building. That's a lot of work, in my opinion.
You're welcome.
So, okay. The Art Center continues to operate without anybody in the director's position. So our town manager, who has not very much to do, right? So Boyd, our town manager, has the job of ensuring that the MACC continues to operate. What updates can you give us from your perspective, Boyd?
Well, as you know, we are not operating now, but by design. One of the things that we're doing during this period, Sam has been working on updating the teacher agreements. It's one of the things that we identified as a priority, is getting updated agreements with all the teachers and insurance and all of that. So he started off working on agreements relative to summer camp, but is now switched to just general agreements. And I think may have actually finished that up and sent that along to Harry for review as well. So we'll have those, and as soon as we get those firmed up, then we could go ahead and be getting with the teachers and instructors during this downtime and trying to get all that in place. So that we're working on that, and whether via SMEPF or if Cheryl and Dick just did it directly, I'm not sure, but they've gotten new scheduling software in place. Sam went over and went through that and has gotten familiar with it and comfortable with the operation. And we were literally about to schedule training with the staff that he would go over and work with each of them to get them up to speed and get it going when this new chapter in our lives began. So, but we're ready to do that. And again, before we open back up and get going, we'll make sure that training takes place. So, even though we're not actively engaged in the business of the MACC at first glance, we continue to be actively engaged in the business of the MACC and trying to get some things taken care of and ready to go for the other side of this current adventure.
I have a question. So when this all started, of course, we didn't know where this journey in life is taking us right now. So what is the status of the staff at MACC?
The current staff is still staff, with the opportunity to do the work in the hallways and everything. Felt it was best to not have them reporting. They came in for a few days to just do some administrative things, going through files, purging files, old documents and stuff, shredding those. And once they were able to schedule the work in the building, then we had them stop coming in. When we feel it's safe to do so, especially with them coming in one at a time, we may try to go ahead and start scheduling some training and things like that with them. As with all regular staff with the town, they are still being paid. So they're hopefully doing okay on that front.
That's good. Thank you for that. Anything else from you?
That's it.
Okay. So summer camps are canceled, not surprisingly. It was exciting to have the opportunity to attempt to retool the summer camps, and ultimately, hopefully, we will be able to build that into a really strong program. Now that we almost have a whole building to use, so we last month, the early few months of the year, definitely there was a lot of hard work that went into the summer camp program. So I should thank everyone who worked on that for all that hard work, and I'm sorry to see that it's not going to be able to be utilized this summer. But next time, hopefully, we'll have a better program lined up.
That'd be good.
And the foundation's been set. Hopefully, the work will benefit considerably when we crank up next time. There's a lot of the building blocks are already in place now for what we need to do going forward.
Yeah. Plenty of time to plan for next year.
Right.
Yeah. We should be able to launch with an even stronger, program once we
Parents
can
are
actually
really
do it.
excited to get their kids signed up.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
Silver linings.
So right now, the only activity at MACC, I've seen a few people playing in the property, even though we don't even have a proper park right now. There have been some families, one at a time, which is nice, one at a time playing on the ground the past few days, I've noticed. But that's other than that, and some restoration work going on inside. We're pretty idle right now, and it's difficult to know how to plan for the future.
Like same as always.
So yes, true. We are accustomed to surprises. So I guess we should be pretty good at handling surprises. Yeah. So our next meeting, before I even discuss that, is there any other business anybody would like to bring up that I have neglected?
I had one question, and
Okay, Ellis?
I almost hesitate to ask it, but it's really sort of for Boyd and/or I guess Angie, if she's aware of it. Is the town liable if one of the teachers, for example, a music teacher, is doing lessons off-site to continue the lessons? If they did this initially at the MACC, I would think not, but of course you probably have a statement saying that the MACC is closed and the teachers. I just didn't know if we needed to remind the teachers that if they did something like that, they need to keep some social distance, or just say, I would assume, it's just not approved by the town.
Right. The teachers operate as independent contractors, so they work for themselves, not the town.
Right.
And I think the recommendations that have been made was for students to contact teachers and vice versa if there were opportunities for virtual lessons of some sort. But beyond that, it is the responsibility of the teacher and the student or student's parents to make those decisions, and it does not attach liability to the town because they work for themselves, not us.
I assumed as much, but I just wanted to bring it up.
As
Thank
far as
you,
I know,
Alice.
a lot of the teachers are doing online lessons, so that's great.
Gordon is, I know.
I guess we're doing everything online, so
Yeah,
here
it's
we
not
are.
a choice.
Did anybody buy Zoom stock? Wish I had.
How does Zoom even make money off of this anyway? That's a good question.
There's upgrades from the free version, $12, $15 a month, something like that. Just you have up to 100 people and unlimited time. The free version, you get 40 minutes limit and only, I think, 20 people at a time. I assume the town does the next level up.
Yeah, we upgraded. Seldom need more than 20 people, but 40 minutes was going to be an issue for most meetings.
Right.
You just might decide to cut it off after 40 minutes, Ryan.
Yeah,
That's
I was
right.
a little disappointed when I found out there was an option to go longer than that.
But we don't. There's only so much business to discuss. There's not a lot that we can do right now. There's not a lot that we can plan for. Coming up in the fall, we have fall events that will tentatively come up if we can do them. So I guess we'll just maybe we'll know more in a month's time. We will tentatively meet last Tuesday of next month. If we're still shut down, which is good, I'm assuming we're going to be shut down for another month for sure. Do we even need to meet again?
Well, I think since that is a standing meeting date, perhaps we leave it as tentative and then revisit that as we get a little bit closer.
Yeah, I think that's
one thing we might ask if we have meetings of this nature in the future, especially if everyone continues to be more available during the course of the day, that we may move it a little earlier to accommodate staff being able to do this through regular business day. If board members aren't available, we'll do it whenever we need to, but just something to think about if the opportunity presents, maybe doing them earlier in the day.
So looking at, should we set a time, or is it too? We have almost everybody here, except none of us know what we're doing in a month. Maybe not much.
My calendar's free.
Yeah.
I'm available anytime.
I can meet anytime.
So we will just that's okay. We can set that. We can set that later. Earlier will be good. That makes sense since we are using town staff, and thank you guys for making this happen.
I'm sure.
With it being virtual, we may be able to help someone that would have to drive up the mountain to get to a physical meeting, might be able to get online by their phone or their computer before they drive home. So,
right. So we will plan on doing a meeting earlier, the last Tuesday
April 28th.
of April. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
April 28th.
Yeah.
So
Boyd,
we will.
since we're on the subject, what time would be ideal be finished by 5, be finished by 4:30, by finished by 4?
If we could finish up around 4:30, that would be great. If, but again, if it's feasible,
Well, they don't
that
see
would be
these
appreciated.
lasting that long. We haven't been doing this for 30 minutes, 35.
Yeah.
Do you want to aim for like 3 o'clock or something like that?
That
3:30?
would be fine.
Okay.
And again, we can kind of touch base
We can
a week or so out and see if we have agenda items, and if so, then we can firm that up with everybody on the time.
True. No point in setting a time right now if we end up changing it. That's just confusing. So, but we'll go forward with the intention of moving it earlier. Yeah, that would be respectful of staff. Okay. Any other business to discuss? Questions? All right. Well, thank you, town staff, for helping us out, and board members. Glad you could check in and find a space in your house to meet up. And if anybody happens to be watching on the live stream, thanks for watching.
Good to
We'll
see.
try. Yeah, yeah, good to see you, everybody. This is the most social thing I've done in a long time. Alrighty. Well, in that case, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.